So this is not new information, but it kind of bubbled up on the internet yesterday. So let's talk about it, shall we? It's the uniform patches. You all know that revenue sharing is upon us. You all know that the players across the various sports on the campuses of these big-time athletic programs are going to receive north of $20 million this next year and moving forward. So the schools are in this never-ending battle to create revenue. And one of the avenues that LSU is looking to explore is the uniform patch and the marking on the field to have businesses have their logo prominently displayed and to be paid handsomely for that. And Wilson Alexander, the Advocate, wrote the story, and we actually talked to Wilson about the story last week. And so, like I'm saying, this is not brand new information, but I have, definitive thoughts on this. And if you've listened to me over time, I think you've got a feeling where this is probably going. Beck, what do you think I'm going to say about these uniform patches?
That you don't really like them that much.
Okay. That's fair, and I think that's what most people think. I am an old man. I yell at clouds.
You're the uniform czar.
I don't adapt to change. I am the uniform czar. And it really, really made me cranky last year when LSU continued to run out of the tunnel in goofy-looking uniforms. I didn't like it at all. Y'all heard that week in and week out. I don't want them to wear icy whites. I don't want them to wear purple uniforms with white helmets. I don't want them to wear gold uniforms with white pants. That drives me nuts. I don't like seeing it. I like tradition. I like branding. And I like LSU to wear their classic uniforms. You all know that. And some of you vehemently disagree with me and think I'm an old man who sounds like an idiot. Some of you think I'm right on because you like the tradition as well. And tradition's important. Tradition is what makes football programs unique. It makes families unique. It makes groups of friends unique. Things that you do over and over and over again that kind of create your personality. It's like the soul of a college football program. It's important. And so you would suggest, based on all these things that you know about me and the things that I've said, you would go, well, he clearly is going to think this is the worst idea he's ever seen. I don't think that. I think it's what you have to do. You can't have these massive revenue streams that everyone else is using to pay players and not use them. That is creating a disadvantage for yourself. Said another way, you're creating an advantage by raking in the revenue from these sponsorship opportunities to help pay your players and fund your athletic program. It is a completely separate issue to me than what color jersey you wear, right? There's no advantage or disadvantage, so I just have to just judge it on face value and go, I hate the way that looks. I may not like the way a patch looks, and I don't like the way a patch looks, but it's necessary to create the money to pay the players. And guess what? If I've got the opportunity to not wear a patch and not get the player, as opposed to wear the patch and get the 5-star transfer who comes in and scores a touchdown against Alabama because there was revenue available to pay him, I want that guy scored a touchdown with the patch on his uniform. End of discussion. And the fact of the matter is that when I'm sitting in the press box or I'm watching from home and LSU wears the icy white uniforms, that's just very obvious and apparent to me, and I don't like it. When LSU puts a patch on their shoulder that very likely, as we're told, is going to be purple and gold, for my seat in the press box or John's seat in the south end zone or looking at it on television, I probably can't even see the patch. I watch the Cubs every night. Watched them last night. They played the Guardians. Won. It was awesome. Fell down early. Great offensive effort to come back late. Showed figured it out. Great win for the Cubs. Guess what? The whole time they were wearing a Motorola patch, blue one, right there on the sleeve. Can't even really notice it. Blends in with the uniform. I didn't even know until I looked to write a column on LouisianaSports.net this morning that the patch is on different shoulders based on what side of the plate a player hits from. It's on the front. I didn't even know that. So for the guys that hit left-handed, it's on their right arm. For the guys that hit right-handed, it's on their left arm. I had to look that up for the column because I was writing that I thought Motorola was on the left sleeve, and that's what I wrote. And I went, let me go look, and I went back and looked at a video. Nope, it alternates based on what shoulders out front because they want when the guy's hitting to be there.
So which one is which sleeve is Ian Happ's on?
I'm assuming they either pick one or they look at the starting pitcher. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But there's reasonable point, switch hitter, we'll see. But the point being, the jersey patch, to me, is far less significant than what uniforms you actually wear. And in terms of watching the game, I should say, it's far more significant than what color uniform you wear based on the money that's coming into the program. And the fact of the matter is you're in a massive arms race with everyone to create funds and to have money available. Used to be, you know what? You got rich boosters. You're paying some guys some bucks under the table. Make it work. That's how we're accumulating our roster. Now, like, this is over-the-table business transaction type stuff. Bottom line stuff. And if this is a $5 million deal, an $8 million deal, a $10 million deal, whatever the case may be, the Yankees are getting $25 million from an insurance company. And guess what? If that team can do it and that brand can do it, everybody can do it. Because the Yankees put a patch on their sleeve before their infielders could grow a mustache. It's better said, a beard. I think they could have mustaches back in the day, but no beards. So if you gave me my choice, said, okay, you can either have the patch and the money or go back and no one does any money and there's no patch, like, what would you rather look at? I would rather look at a uniform that doesn't have a patch on it. I don't care if it's Canes or Dow Chemical. I don't care if it's Walk-Ons or Sprint. I don't care if it's McDonald's, whatever. I would rather not have the patch. But the fact of the matter is the patch is pretty insignificant. I'm still going to be the grumpy old man the first time LSU comes out of that tunnel this year in icy whites, which I'm assuming is going to happen. Brian Kelly's kind of set that precedent. He lets the kids wear whatever they want. They don't want to wear the classic uniforms. I'm assuming that's going to move forward. And I'm not going to talk about it on the show very often, but still, when they come out of the tunnel, I'm going to be like, well, that looks dumb. And that's fine. I'll still pull for them to win. And ultimately, what they do on the field will matter most, not the uniforms. But when it comes down to the patch, and it comes down to the actual dollars and cents, and it comes down to actually funding the program and building the rosters, slap that bad boy on there and put one on the 20-yard line while you're at it. Because this is about actually winning games. The icy whites and the purples don't affect the scoreboard one iota. The players you pay with the money you get from the patches, that matters on the field. Put the patch on it. Now, I'm not trying to turn this into NASCAR, okay? I don't need them coming out looking like the Premier League soccer teams with an airline across the chest. That's a bridge too far, and I don't think we're anywhere close to that. I think that the powers that be will step in and go, that's not what we want this to look like. You need to find your revenue elsewhere. We're not going to sell naming rights to the jersey. But as long as we're not slapping things on the helmet instead of the tiger and changing the colors of the uniform and all that kind of stuff, we're not coming out in bright red and yellow for McDonald's, then I'll be fine with the patch. Go get the players. Because we've turned this into, we've got to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to buy out coaches all the time, and we got to pay tens of millions of dollars to the players every single year. They got to find the money somewhere. And if corporations are willing to fork it over to put something that I can't even really see on the shoulder, I'm all for it. And I don't know that there's much of a different way to look at it, unless you just want to fall behind and want to put the patch or no patch ahead of actually beating Florida in football. And if that's the way you sit, well, then we just are watching two different things and we have two different emotional attachments to what we're watching. I think this is a take that most people wouldn't imagine that I would have, but this is just obvious. One dislike for me with the alternate uniforms has no bearing on the outcome. The other, big bearing on the outcome. Beck, are you surprised to hear me suggest that I don't care about the patches?
A little bit. We talked about this yesterday on AFR. Me and Musso did, and I mentioned that I figured that Hunt would not be very happy about it. But yeah, I kind of had the same position as you, and it makes sense that you would as well. You're obviously going to still be upset with the other uniforms, but at the end of the day, whatever LSU has to do to be as competitive as the other team, that's going to be the top priority. Ultimately,
I never waver from that. I always say, like, okay, what's the rule change, and how does that affect LSU winning a championship? And this is a rule change. And how does it affect LSU winning a championship? You have to put the patch on. There's no effect on a championship with alternate uniforms. You either like them or you don't, and I don't. This is material. And so I'm like, okay, let's get on it. So that's my Genesis opening drive for today. Uniform patches with LSU football. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.